in the budget.
2024's federal budget deficit has now hit $1.8 trillion.
In today's video, we're going to discuss how the skill sets and understanding of a monetary budget that you guys have can be transferred into the use of a calorie budget to help you lose weight, improve everyday performance. Calories are absolutely fundamental to losing weight, as they dictate the amount of energy possessed within our foods that we consume. When we eat in a surplus of these foods, we gain weight. When we eat in a deficit, we lose weight. And if we eat at the exact amount as our total daily energy expenditure, we maintain our weight. Firstly, let's establish what a calorie actually is. A calorie is a unit of measurement that basically dictates the amount of energy that is possessed within the foods that we consume. With your budget at home, the first thing I want you to work out is our total daily energy expenditure, or our TDEE. What this indicates to us is how much energy you actually burn through everyday activity. This can be stuff as simple as just moving around, walking to work, any basic activity that you don't think of, as well as any additional exercise such as going to the gym, a run. This will be our maintenance level of energy, or calories. The second thing we want to do is to calculate our income, or our calorie intake. This is really important to do correctly, as if you eat in a surplus while you're trying to lose weight, you will inevitably gain weight. If you eat in a deficit while you're trying to gain weight, you will inevitably lose weight. So it's very important to define our goals and then appropriately select the amount of calories that we'll be consuming. Now we've laid out our income and our expenses, or our intake and our total daily energy expenditure, is we're going to jump onto a calorie calculator. What this does is calculates our maintenance level of calories. So you're going to go onto the website and search up calorie.net. This will bring up a very quick graph with all your details, so your height, weight, age. You want to enter those in. You're going to select the activity level that you currently experience, and that's going to give us our average or our expected maintenance calories. You're then going to select what your goal is, whether that's weight loss or weight gain, and that's going to tell you how much of a deficit you require to lose a certain amount of weight each week. The more extreme we go into our deficit or surplus, the quicker the fat loss or gain will be. So it's really important to select the correct deficit. You don't want to burn out too quickly. So if you select a massive deficit straight away, it becomes very, very hard to maintain the diet. You're going to end up quitting, relapsing, and ending up straight back where you were at the start. Our goal here is to lose weight and maintain the new healthy weight, rather than just a 12-week fitness fad and then rebound straight back to our original weight where you're going to be performing at that suboptimal level. I want you to think of this as monitoring our income streams. So you're going to take every bit of food that's coming in. What I want you to do is to download an app like MyFitnessPal, and we're going to track all of our calories that are consumed inwards. I want you to think of these as our income streams. So breakfast, lunch, dinner. You're going to get a scale. You're going to weigh every meal that you eat for at least 3 or 4 weeks, so that you at least build this innate feeling of what you're actually eating. I now can sort of look at a bowl of food and judge how many calories are in it with a reasonable amount of accuracy. So when I'm trying to maintain weight, I don't always have to weigh and track every single calorie that I'm consuming. I just have a much better understanding of how much energy is actually stored within the foods that I eat than I did before I did any of this calorie tracking business. Now, one of the really cool parts about tracking your calories is that you can kind of eat whatever you want, provided that it fits in within your macros. Now, when I say macros, what I'm referring to are obviously the 3 key macronutrient profiles that we have within the foods that we eat, which would be proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Now, it's really important that we make sure that we consume the adequate amount of protein. Protein is a fantastic macronutrient that helps us with maintaining and building muscle mass, whether you're in a surplus or a deficit and losing weight. When we are losing weight, if we eat adequate protein, our body is much more likely to turn to our fat stores to ask for energy, so that we're removing the body fat or the adipose tissue that we have on our body, rather than just wasting away the muscle that we've spent so much time in the gym building. Then between the other 2 macronutrients of carbohydrates and fats, that's really a personal preference. I know there's a lot of stuff going around on the internet at the moment about, oh, you should be a carnivore or you should be solely eating carbs. It's really up to you, whatever you feel the best with. For me personally, I find that a balanced approach of a little bit of carbohydrates and a little bit of fats seems to work really well together. That's the way that I feel my best. My sleep quality is much higher, my energy in the gym and just throughout the period of day as well is much greater when I consume both carbohydrates and fats. But I implore you to mess around with that within your, as long as you're not exceeding the calorie budget, especially if you're trying to lose weight, then you're not going to have any issues with whether you add a few extra carbs or increase your fats a little bit. That's totally up to you. Just try and make sure that you maintain a little bit of both. I would encourage you to give this diet some time, as sometimes when we start a fat loss diet, our body does have a tendency to hold on to some excess water, which may seem that the scales aren't moving, but I promise you, you are losing fat the whole time through that period, provided that you are actually in a calorie deficit. And so if you haven't lost any weight at the end of a 4-week period, then to me that just dictates that your calories are still too high and you need to reduce them further and then see what the outcome is after that. Now, when it comes to picking the quality of our foods, I think it's really important to think of this kind of as our investing strategies. It's not physically impossible to lose weight whilst eating fast food. So you can go and eat Maccas every single day, and provided that you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. However, these foods are very high in calories. They have a very low satiation point, so you don't feel full after eating these foods, and there's not a lot of volume to them because of the high calorie nature. So you can make up your deficit or your calorie budget purely out of foods that are very highly palatable, but it just makes it so much harder for yourself. Whereas if you pick really high quality foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, complex carbohydrates such as rice, these foods are very satiating. Even potatoes are great as well. They make you feel super full so that you're not ravenous or really hungry throughout the diet, making it much more likely that you'll actually maintain the deficit throughout a longer period of time rather than relapsing after 4 weeks, ending up back where you were, and then we have to start the process all over again, or you end up feeling like this doesn't work, this isn't for me. However, you can include foods that are for pleasure or to enjoy every now and then in small doses, just to keep you on the path, keep you moving forwards. I personally really like chocolate mousse. So one of the first things I do every day is I wake up and I track the chocolate mousse that I know I'm going to have after dinner. It's about 120 calories. It is my post-dinner sweet treat, if you will. And so I like to make sure that I pre-plan that into my diet, so then throughout the rest of the day, provided I'm still hitting my protein targets, I can manipulate every meal that I eat to make sure that I'm hitting all my macronutrients and then still have space at the end of the day for that little sweet treat. What do you think of this as investing in index funds? You know, the very safe route, the one that will definitely get you where you want to be, just might take a little bit longer, versus investing in crypto, which would be more of our fast food method. Yes, it's tasty. Yes, it has really exciting big returns, but it's a lot more volatile. It makes it a lot more difficult to reliably make money within the stock market or within any sort of market for that matter. So people that are eating really high palatable foods such as McDonald's every single day are living that sort of very turbulent existence when it comes to trying to get some fat loss goals. In the same way that financial debt can really get out of hand very quickly, we can also think of binge eating, calorie surpluses as, when your goal is fat loss, the same sort of thing. These things can very quickly stack up, making either your deficit that you've worked super hard for throughout the week, that you've then destroyed on the weekend by binge eating, totally eradicated, and this can massively halt our weight loss journey.